Yeehaw, soldiers! It's your boy, the Anime Sage, coming at you with another video, and welcome to the Sage's Sanctum podcast on the Sage's Sanctum. I am Anime Sage, and here's my boy, What If Universe. Say hi.
Hello.
So, and by the way, I'm eating as I'm doing this podcast. But anyway, we're gonna be talking about a bevy of topics today, and we're gonna be having some fun with it. So, it's going to be relatively a good time. Now, I guess we could start off with our waifu of the day, which for me, I do owe Depresso this. So I'm going to be making my waifu of the day Diane from Seven Deadly Sins.
Alrighty. I think I'm going to go with, I'm probably going to butcher the name, but it's Uryu Miyane from Future Diary.
Oh, nice.
If I mispronounce that, I'm sorry. You can put down in the comments how I'm supposed to pronounce that.
So we will be getting into a bunch of news topics today, and then we'll have our tip of the day today. So why don't we get into the first story, which is Ghibli Park to start construction in July for fall 2022 opening. So we've got a theme park coming up, which should be come in for Studio Ghibli and stuff like that. The construction is gonna begin in July, so in fall of 2022, and there's probably going to be no delays with the coronavirus epidemic that's going on. Oh wait, actually, never mind.
It seems like it costs around, around like $98 million something dollars. Which, that makes sense. It's a theme park, but that's a lot of money, honestly.
It really is. It's just pretty crazy in how much it costs.
Yeah, apparently Not Gia TV ended up streaming a news report basically showing up some concept designs and gave like a nice aerial video showing all the construction sites. So if you're interested in that, I believe there's a YouTube video. You could go look for that.
It's going to be really fun to see how this all pans out. But I would love to visit that park one day. The theme park one day. It would be pretty fun.
I definitely think this would be worth seeing because I think besides Disney, this is like one of the massive like theme park things that's being created because the only other time this happened, I believe, was with Pokemon back in the 2000s when it was at its hype. But I don't think that park's still around anymore, unfortunately.
Dang, it's not around?
I don't think so by this point.
That's crazy.
I think that's more difficult with Pokemon versus Studio Ghibli, because Ghibli has a lot of spectacle to it versus Pokemon. It's kind of more difficult to get into, I think, in my opinion. At least artistically.
Like, Pokemon, is extremely famous, though. It's one of the highest grossing games of all time.
Like, I think it'll come back eventually in the form of, like, Nintendo Land, which Universal has partnered with Nintendo, and that's supposed to come out around the same year. So I do have hopes that, like, there could be a Pokemon, like, land area, technically, that could occur, but I think the issue is longevity, potentially.
Yeah, that's something that we need that we have to take into consideration. Oof, I'm gonna be interested in this. Is gonna be a really good thing to look at. I'm pretty excited about it. All right, so we have now for our next story of the day an Inuyasha anime spinoff. It posts Rimiko Takahashi's character designs. We're about to be getting we remember that Inuyasha spinoff? We got some designs. We got some concept designs. Oh my god.
Which means I could see the What If community definitely jumping onto Inuyasha pretty soon, so if you see What Ifs from either of us, that's probably why, potentially, because the story's actually continuing excitingly.
Inuyasha is a very fun. So it could be a very fun series to look at, especially if it could do.
But yeah, apparently this anime is actually supposed to premiere in the fall of 2020, so that means I'll have a lot of time to actually catch up with Inuyasha right now. Fortunately enough.
Hey.
Well, I need to. I need to refresh my memory with it if I want to start covering it. Obviously, I know that it won't be as popular as some other stuff, but I do honestly want to get into it, and I've heard a lot of good things about it for sure.
We're about to have some fun, baby. We're about to have some fun. All right.
But if people don't know what Inuyasha is, I recommend watching it. Maybe you can hear some of my reviews of different arcs throughout my own watch period for it, but it'll probably take me the rest of the summer probably get through it, honestly. Because I'm sure it's a decent amount to go through for sure.
It's gonna be really exciting to see how this all goes.
Anyways, the director appears to be the same one from the original series, it appears.
So it looks like we might be able to get some of the old Inuyasha charm in that little thing, I guess.
Let's see. What else is here that's interesting? Let's see.
Our next story of the day.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Yeah, we got Anime's limited Cloud Matsuri online convention. So the virtual festival of Cloud Matsuri was held online this weekend of May 30 and 31st, consisting of several hours of live stream material on each day. Much of that material consisted of interviews with industry professionals at Free Anime Studios, Orange, who they're making Beastars, Science Saru, Keep Your Hands Off Yuzauken, and Polygon Pictures, Knights of Sidonia, Tron Uprising, and Levius. And now, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say real quick, if you have not seen Tron Uprising, I highly recommend it. It's very short. It's not technically an anime, but it was animated by that studio in particular. It's definitely worth your time for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be really good to see how that goes. So we got also for, you have there was for Evangelion fans, there's a bit of an interview with the CEO of Groundworks of the Groundworks, which does handle the character licensing for the franchise. And you have all the interviews conducted by Jeremy Graves, so that should be pretty interesting to look at. Now, there were some hiccups within the Beastars interview when the stream kind of looped back to the start, but it was fixed. And then you had the stream of Iuzoken talk on, which was Saturday. It was hammered by severe buffering, and it kind of had jumping, which, yeah, it wasn't a fun watch at all.
Yeah, I think this is where we're heading towards with the era of streaming conventions. I do think if we can't cover down with this COVID stuff, we definitely need to probably eventually have an industry designed to help these conventions start streams, or they need to internally work this out with their own teams. But I think this is could be just an internet thing, but who knows with that, because so many people are online, I believe YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, and a bunch of others started slowing down bit rates for people because so many people are using their platforms.
Yeah, it's going to be, but I'm really excited for all this. So, whew. All right. We have our next story of the day. Vinland Saga. Ooh, we got nothing really to nothing related to Vinland Saga, but the director actually helmed the Attack on Titan essentially promotion video,
which is actually really cool to think about this, because we know that Attack on Titan's now being animated by another studio, which that's the weird thing if Attack on Titan keeps getting animated by other studios as time goes on, but at least it's the final season, so at least this will be it. And there were some controversies with how the rough animation looked, but I think as far as how everything looked, for the most part, that looked fine, in my opinion. I don't know, did you see it?
Oh my god, it looked very cool. It did definitely look very
Yeah,
cool.
that's what I was thinking, because when you have a good director, you can still make things look alright, even if the animation seems a bit choppy in certain areas, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we actually have a tweet that was translated. It says, by a curious coincidence, I wrote the storyboard and directed the PV promotional video for Attack Titan final season. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. And it says stay tuned, because, again, we have to wait a bit till it comes out, you know? And according to Studio Wit Studios, they said they did a good job, so I believe them. And because they're part of this similar division, which people may not know this, because the other studio that's animating it, there's like branches, you know, like what would we call it? Like a tier system? What would you call this? I don't know.
Yeah, that could be something there, I guess.
I don't know what to call it, you know.
I don't know.
But Yatsuba was basically the 3D CG director of the first 3 seasons, and it appears this person could potentially be the new person heading this department, as we seen at the promotional video, and that could have been a test, but we'll have to wait and see on that for sure.
Yeah, that should be interesting to see how that goes.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking, because why wouldn't they get their main person to do it? It could have been too expensive, or maybe they just potentially want to replace him. Like, that's what I'm thinking, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that covers most of this for now, as far as we know that it's not coming out till way later on. I believe it's fall, with a bunch of other animes that are coming back, as far as I know. But of course, some are being canceled because of the virus, or being pushed to later. So we'll have to wait and see with this one for sure.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to like look, and I cannot, but I really cannot wait for some of these fall animes because they're gonna be. I feel like they'll be really good. Fire Force, I believe, is coming in the summer, so that should be really fun to watch.
Yeah, I need to actually watch that, but I've been too busy catching up with some other stuff. Like I recently finished Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. That was a pretty fun series I watched. I basically watched it because someone told me that they thought it was better than the Ace Attorney anime, and I might do a video on that if people are interested, but I don't know. The issue that I have with Harvey Birdman is that as time goes on, like, a bunch of the references will be outdated, versus Ace Attorney, it's like a linear story.
That's fair to say.
But I will say it was really enjoyable, so if you want to watch it while you still will remember the references, I recommend that cartoon if you get the chance.
Alright, that's something that I feel like that's about enough for some of these news topics, I guess.
Yeah, I think we could jump into the tip of the day if we want to here.
Yeah, we should. Tip of the day. Even if you don't have the money, that is not an excuse to look for free methods to improve your content. So, what do you mean by this? Well, back before I was able to, like, got a new mic, I was looking for, like, different ways to improve my content. So I already had, like, some of the editing software that I had, and I utilized some of the microphone a little bit more, and I got better into looking for ways to edit. So my editing got a lot better over time.
Right.
This is what we're talking about.
that's kind of how we're trying to get across here, because there's a lot of people think, oh, I need Adobe Premiere or Sony Vegas or whatever, but there are free options like DaVinci and Sumo Paint and a bunch of other things that are out there, and also GIMP, that one's important, that you could actually use instead of trying to shell out a lot of money that you might not have.
Like, no one needs Photoshop at all or like all this Adobe crap. You can just like look for different free methods for like some of this type of stuff. Would we recommend that you could go after it? Yeah, sure, you can do that, but at the same time, it's not you don't need all this equipment. And
Yep. Yeah.
And like, even if you have all the equipment, you're not going to be like pumping out, getting like all these subscribers right off the bat. Like,
Yeah, and even I recently had to redo a bunch of junk because I didn't realize like what happened with my mic. Actually, like something happened with a bunch of audio recordings. People were saying stuff was messed up, and at first I was like, it can be on the other end, because what people probably know is like each person could have different speakers, so I just thought it was that. But after playing back some of the audio, I realized that certain parts were messed up a bit, so I have to literally redo a bunch of videos, and not to include some of my older content, which I think with me it's like I reached a point where I don't want to keep it up to represent how I am now. But as far as growth and stuff, like they will be like archived, like on the second channel, because you kind of have to remember where you came from, at least in my opinion. And if they're not the best, I feel like it's important to like have it for archival purposes, I guess.
And like, that's something that you need to look at. You have to like, you can't be thinking. You have to like remember where your roots were. I see so many people forget where they came from and stuff like that, and just like act like they, like didn't come from a certain point. I used to, like 8 months ago, I had like 12 subscribers after uploading my first video.
And if you look back between both of us, you can see like there is great improvement between us. But I think Sage technically had a higher jump than I did because I had a different starting point, I think.
Yeah, it was probably. I feel like the quality of my videos is like what has increased by a lot, ever versus like where I was back in the day.
I think with me it's a bit more unfair because I've been doing YouTube a lot longer, but I think there is different downsides I have with myself that I have to improve on for sure.
Anyone can improve, and everyone has like different methods of like where to boost themselves, like, and like at the end of the day, if I didn't like take criticism and stuff like that, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah, because I was reaching a point with some of those videos, it's like, reaching a point where I just can't take criticism, or is it actually my fault? And I realized, like, yeah, it was my fault. I messed up here at these two videos. I need to try to fix them as soon as I can. And sure, I'm gonna be behind by a month trying to get a bunch of this stuff fixed, obviously, but I think, I don't know, you just have to get yourself in a good mind space and stuff. Like, I have my own stuff that messes with me more than probably like a regular person, so most people, I think, just need to be more motivated, I guess. For me, it's hard to get that point, and also trying to focus, I guess.
Whew, that should be fun.
Well, yeah, I think one thing that's important to think about is not dismissing criticism too early, because that was my mistake with my first video. Because there were people I had review it, it's like, is this actually happening? They were like, yeah, kinda. And I was like, I had to think about it for a minute, and I thought doing our video, and then I realized, I made a pretty horrible mistake. Now I just feel really bad about myself trying to get all this stuff redone,
Yeah, it comes over time. But you always do have to look at yourself and be like, well, I used to be at this point. Now I'm here.
Well, my issue is like, I went up reaching a point where I was progressing, but then I went down and started getting worse. So I think that's one thing I've realized. Like, there's several videos I honestly need to fix, but I'll have to get to some of them over time versus others because I just don't have the time to always focus on trying to fix older stuff, you know?
Yeah. I'm pretty. It's gonna be pretty interesting on how this all goes together and stuff like that. And all this, like, but I believe in you. You can do your stuff. You're pretty good at your content, man.
I think so too at times, but I do know that a lot of stuff that slows me down, which I think our people need to think about, is that this can affect you mentally if you're not prepared of what you're doing. Because there's a lot of people I talk to that I think I don't feel like I would have gotten here at this point, but I don't know about myself enough how I got here or whatever. I don't know if it's luck or I have some sort of skill, really. You know?
That's fair.
Hey, honestly, I don't know. Let's see. Oh yeah, we could talk about upcoming content. Let's do that.
What did you say again?
Let's talk about upcoming content. Let's do that.
Upcoming content. Okay. For me, I'm looking into more versus battles and look into more spin-offs and stuff like that. Like I'm doing with the Origins one. And that should be pretty good as well. What about you?
Let's see. I have a collab with Dragonstar. We're getting back to what if Chi-Chi died birthing Gohan, even though we're 2 months behind on that. A lot of it's my fault, to be honest with a lot of people. Like, sometimes if I do collabs with people, it's hard for me to try to work it out sometimes. So that's just what happens.
Fair. I do. Oh, I do have also something behind the scenes. I'm not gonna say what it is, but it should be fun. It should be really fun. This is gonna. I'm gonna enjoy. This is gonna be like we're gonna have like a good month this week, and hopefully 2020 gets better. Even though we just had Ebola.
So, what do you think about? Let's see. Did I ever talk to you about? No, did I? I think I already talked to you about bringing back Alexander Anderson Deku. I think I did.
Yeah, we're looking into that. And we're trying to. And if any of you guys want that back, I can make that happen. And with the snap of the fingers, and actually, me and Drew can make it happen.
Well, literally, the next part was written. The issue was the previous part didn't hit the like or view goal at all in time, so it was very sad.
It's probably where we're like, well, we're gonna have to like figure out if people are really interested in the content we're making in the content, or if we if we bring it back at one, it could potentially kill both our channels in terms of analytics.
Well, the theory is that most likely we'll bring back one part and just see how it does, and if it doesn't get too far, then basically that will just end it off there. Most likely we could consider doing it as a double upload, because I could just edit that for you for your end. You just release 2 videos in a week.
Yeah, I feel that could work. Who knows?
So that way your channel doesn't tank if it does horrible.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate with the series, because we actually enjoy writing it a lot. Like, that's one series that's pretty fun, but if people don't like it, then that's what happens, I guess.
It was because we love Hellsing Ultimate. Ugh!
Yeah, it's for sure. If you haven't seen it, be sure to check it out. I'm about to watch.
Hang on a second. I got a stink bug.
Alright.
Into the vacuum you go. I'm getting tired of these stupid things flying around. Like, that thing flew!
Maybe it wanted to be on the podcast.
Ugh. I'm gonna like... Ugh. Yeah.
Let's see, as far as stuff I'm doing, it's mostly just fixing a bunch of my older stuff this month, and next month I'm gonna try to get back to normal, honestly.
Got it! I hate these things. They keep coming into the house.
I honestly just want to keep this in.
Definitely.
It feels like, did Anime Sage just walk off to go vacuum and then come back to the podcast?
Well, I sucked it into the vacuum, so which I've been doing for a lot of insects.
Yeah, it's a good little trap thing for them, I guess.
Or and also causes their death because like I feel like they can't handle all that like dust.
Hopefully. That seems pretty gross for sure.
Ugh.
Let's see. As far as other stuff, we're still gonna try to keep podcasts going. I think I might take a break once from Renegon Rant at some point, so that way we can have Sage's Sanctum and Renegon Rants at the same episode number, because that's been frustrating me a bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like it's better to like focus on like the ranty side than like positive stuff.
Which is sad. I think that's why we have more episodes of it versus Sage's Sanctum. I think that's the reason why. There's just stuff we want to talk about. It just doesn't fit normally with this podcast. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Let's see. I think me and Sage have a different collab planned in mind. So if Alexander Anderson Deku fails, there is a collab that you'll get instead that'll start. So there is technically an upside if it doesn't do well.
Trust us, it'll be great.
It's as far as rapid fire what ifs go, I think the issue was they just weren't doing as well as regular videos for me, so that's why I haven't really done them anymore.
That's the problem with like rapid fire what ifs is that like they don't get many views as much as, and they again hurt our channel analytics.
Like some do really well, but some don't, so it's very iffy, and sometimes it gets boring because people just repeat stuff, or it's not as story driven versus like other stuff.
Yeah. I feel like I do like the randomness that can happen. It's just chaotic.
I feel like eventually I might move them to my second channel once I have more regular content up, but for now I'll just keep them up because people seem to enjoy them and it's fun to keep them up for now.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, unfortunately, the last rapid fire what if we did, it's one that's on my second channel where my audio didn't record, unfortunately.
Oh my god, that was annoying.
Technically, there's two. There's a mistake on one of the what ifs that me and a few other people did, and then there's the other one, just Anime Sage and Manga Adventures, because my audio just wasn't there.
I don't know why it like did that, but who knows?
Yeah, I think we figured it out though, fortunately, but it's too late now to try to fill in those gaps.
Oh yeah.
I think
this will be fun. All right,
let's plug stuff. I think.
Yeah, follow. Go subscribe to our YouTube channels, Anime Sage, and of course the What If Universe channel. Check out the Renegade Rant podcast if you haven't done that. We do talk about more of the serious issues that happen. And actually, before we go, let's just give a bit of a moment of silence for David Dorn, who also happened to pass away due to the stuff that's going on in the world. So there we go.
That
And
was funny because you were like right after you said we're giving a moment of silence to him, and then it was weird.
I wasn't fully aware.
As did
messed
Sage
it up
forget what
so
he was
bad.
doing?
I messed it up so bad.
It's like, what's a moment of silence? Like,
I messed that up so bad.
yeah. Check out Instagrams and stuff. If you're curious about Rank on Rants, it's on my second channel, so check out there. And that's it for now.
Bye, everybody. This has been your boy, Name Sage, along with Drew from Live Universe. Sign out. Peace. Yorta. Bye-bye.